welcome to the second episode of Hats Slightly On. On this episode, we're going to be talking about... Anybody want to answer that question?
Horror movies specifically.
Horror movies specifically, indeed, and how absolutely cringy they are sometimes. Specifically, the 1900s ones. Good movies.
1900 ones?
Not 1900s.
Jeez Louise.
Not that far
back in the origin of movies. Them bitches were cringy.
Yeah, I don't know what, the 80s? We'll talk about the 80s horror movies.
I say like, I don't know, 90s and earlier. Because 80s were like the good slasher flicks that everyone loves.
Yeah, 90s. 1990s.
2000s. 2010s.
What's a pretty cringy horror movie from the
Insidious.
2010s? Insidious?
That movie, I don't care what anyone says. Insidious is a horrible movie.
How so?
Bro. Have you seen the movie?
Nah, not really.
Okay. How do I describe it? It's just really, like, so many... Okay, so the thing is, with Insidious, before I watched it, I heard this movie was super scary. So I was going into it prepared to being, like, jumped and everything. And I saw it's PG-13, so my...
I apologize.
So, like, usually with PG-13 horror movies, there's not a lot that can be done. Like, I'm not saying there's not good PG-13 horror movies, but it's usually lesser than an R movie.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I went into it, I'm like, I don't know anymore. And then I finished that movie and I was like, damn, this is just not scary whatsoever.
Dog. The newest Batman was probably scarier than Insidious.
It definitely was, without a doubt. They had like the Power Ranger like flops where like they get hit and he goes, whoa, and he goes like flying backwards. Yeah, it was, they had stuff like that. It just wasn't good.
Sad to see. I think some pretty bad horror movies, all the ones where it was like running away from giant like bugs, like spiders, ants, all that stuff. Those movies are just kind of atrocious. Like, sure, they do their good job at doing their gore and like killing, but like they're not really scary. They're more just like, oh no, giant bugs.
Yeah, they're laughable.
Yeah.
Oh, The Birds was terrifying.
Birds?
Yeah, it's like this really old horror movie.
It's Alfred Hitchcock. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a really old horror movie, and people get attacked by millions of birds. They're quite literally everywhere. They break through the windows. They're yeah. It's a movie for sure. It's a good one, but it's wow.
What were you saying? I think some pretty good horror movies, like just animal wise, have got to be Alien, that's horror movie done right.
That is horror movie done right.
Because you never know. With that whole entire movie, you just don't know what's going to happen next.
Right.
It's just, honestly, perfection in horror movie genre. I would say along with The Exorcist, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Definitely valid. Kamari, how about you?
I think one of like in my opinion, good horror movies. I'd have to say like the Jason movies. Like, yeah, there's some bad ones in there, but generally those are good. Now, if we're talking like true classic Halloween ones, that series, it went downhill. I'll say that. The last movie was god awful.
I'd say a lot of the slasher flicks went downhill.
Yeah, like after the first, I'd say 2 or 3. Nah, 2. After the first 2. Scream has stayed good. Like the 6th one, I haven't seen the 6th one. It just came out, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I've heard people saying it's good. I want to go watch that. It's another good take on Scream. All the Scream movies are just phenomenal in my opinion. Then you have Freddy Krueger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I quite literally still have nightmares about him sometimes. I'm about to be 18, so I have nightmares about Freddy Krueger. It's bad.
Nightmare on Elm Street still gets to you.
Yep.
I respect that. That's a good horror movie. I'd say good horror movies for me, definitely the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. None of the sequels do it justice, especially the second one with the cop that's dual wielding chainsaws and trying to fight them.
Yeah, it's no.
I'd say the Hellraiser franchise did pretty good. Especially the second one. That one, my dad told me that one gave him nightmares.
Yeah, I watched the first one. Did not go back to watch the second one.
Yeah, those were still pretty good. I'd say for younger me, that definitely freaked me out. It was Jurassic Park. I wouldn't say that's like a horror movie, but it definitely does have its like scary parts.
Yeah, it definitely had the elements of a horror movie in there.
I'd say really good current horror movies. I'm gonna start off with Nope. That's a good movie.
That was
seen that. I wanted to see it.
It's good.
You haven't seen it yet?
No, I was gonna go see it and I just didn't.
It's
I won't put any spoilers in case anyone listening to the Spot podcast hasn't seen it, but it's written by the person who made Get Out. Also, another phenomenal horror movie, just done amazingly.
Same dude that made Us made Nope too. What's his name? Jordan
Peele.
Jordan Peele. Yeah, he is a phenomenal writer in terms of horror movies. Like that man is just he makes solid horror movies every time he makes movies. Like Nope, Get Out, Us, just solid movies.
Just proving that funny people can be scary too.
True.
Do you think Predator counts as horror? I'd say it's more thriller.
I'd say, yeah. Well, we did say Aliens, and that's kind of like an action horror.
True.
And I did bring up Jurassic Park, which is just like an adventure movie.
Predator, if put in the horror category, does a really good job.
Yeah.
Keeps you on your toes. The movie Prey, like the little prequel to it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard it's pretty good.
Prey was good. I love the Predator franchise.
Always gonna do. Predator always does like those little action horror type movies. Justice, Predator, and Alien. Those are good. Although the movie where they fought each other was terrible.
Yeah, those are not great.
You have two great series, and then you put them together and you make something awful. I'd say just permanently keep them separate.
The only time that's worked out has to be Freddy vs. Jason. Has to be. That was done really well. It was more comedic than it was a horror, but it was still absolutely... It was hilarious to watch, one. Two, it just did a pretty good job scaring you. Jason always keeps you on your toes, and Freddy...
You keep saying it's funny. I think in terms of like horror comedy, It Chapter 2. Like after it got redone, It Chapter 2, probably one of the funniest movies I've seen. Just like the action scenes, the horror scenes.
Yeah, I'd say that just the new It in general is actually decent.
The old one was terrifying. I remember, I think I was 10 or 11 when I first watched the original It. And it didn't show any like the actual killings on like the new one, but it still terrified me, I think, beyond anything. I had like severe nightmares after that for a solid month and a half. It was rough.
Could not sleep right at all. The new It made me like that. I still can't really like look at Pennywise's face without going, am I gonna be able to sleep tonight or no? It's a legitimate problem.
I'd say another good modern scary movie is Cats.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Dude, that was
scariest movie of all time, hands down. Without a doubt.
The CGI in that freaked me out to where I didn't want to sleep or look at my cat.
Why?
No.
Why did they give the cats human shapes and why were they gyrating around like that? Please, make them stop.
It was so gross to look at. It was not supposed to be a horror movie, but it definitely turned out as one just with like the look of everyone.
Yeah, for sure. That's probably one of the most like terrifying things, traumatizing things I've seen in a good 5 years. Like that's nothing tops that. Nothing, not at all. That's.
I think another good horror movie is Enemy in 2014. It's not really. I haven't seen it, but I've seen a few clips. I know there's an absolutely humongous spider.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
I hated that scene. I don't think I ever want to watch that movie now, at all.
That was actually a really good movie. I enjoyed that one.
To the people listening, if you want to watch a good horror movie, watch Enemy, made in 2014. It's something. It's something.
I don't know. I don't do like spiders and stuff, man.
Then you wouldn't like that movie. That's
I don't know if it's all about spiders. I just know.
It's not all about spiders. It's about a dude who is like watching a movie, and he sees a dude that looks exactly like him. So then he like tries to find out the dude, and they're like twins and everything, and he doesn't know why they're doing that. And like he says that he's like ruining his life and all that, but there's like spiders throughout the movie. It's weird. I forget what spiders
have to do with it.
Yeah.
Well, that's odd, but it sounds interesting. I think, oh no, for me, it's just, I don't know why I like horror movies. It's more like, you know, I just kind of like the thrill of being scared, almost. Like, I know I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight after watching a horror movie, but I'm still going to watch it just because, you know,
right.
I'm going to enjoy it.
A good scare is a good scare. Not really a horror movie, but something that definitely kept me up at night, scared for my life for no reason. The Maze Runner. It just.
Oh, I remember watching
younger
that.
me was horrified by those little wall crawler things.
7, 8 when we watched that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we watched that. I think we went to go watch that for a friend's birthday party. The movie was terrifying as a kid. You ever seen a little 8-year-old you know, creative juices are flowing while watching that movie. By the time the movie's ended, you convince yourself grievers exist and they're coming to get you the moment you leave the movie theater. Like, I was terrified to leave that movie theater, bro. I could. It's a good movie. Don't get me wrong. I love the Maze Runner, all the
Scorched Trials.
Yeah, Scorched Trials, all that. But like, it was just that movie, the original one, as a child, scared the mess out of me.
I'd say I don't want to say genre, but like the classic, like just zombie movies. They're not usually scary, but I'm always going to tune in and watch those. I don't think I've ever seen a zombie movie that really freaks me out. Even 28 Days Later.
Yeah, if we want to get old school, I would probably say like old Dracula movies. They did a really fantastic job at scaring the generation of people watching that movie. But it's a good horror movie. Sure, it's a little old and kind of like just weird for us, but it's a good movie.
Speaking of Dracula, have y'all seen the ads for the? Have y'all seen the ads in for the Rhinefield movie?
Yeah.
The guy works for Dracula. I want to see that. That looks good. I don't think it'll be scary as much as it will be fun, like a funny take on Dracula. But I still think it'll be a good watch nonetheless.
I'd say good action horror though is definitely Blade.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. That one didn't really give me nightmares so much as I was more like, yeah, kill the vampires, yeah.
Right. I don't want to say like it definitely had. I don't want to say it's scary, but it made me uncomfortable in certain scenes.
If we want to talk like just truly scary, like real just horror messed up movies, Tusk.
Oh God! Oh,
to the viewers listening, I don't know what Tusk is. It's about a guy who saves this really old dude. He's a reporter. He saves this really old guy's life, and some odd 5-10-ish years later, the guy is dying, and he asked the reporter who saved his life to come talk to him and just give him a report on how his life's been. So he goes, he gets there, and already things are off. Because the dude's in a wheelchair, and he's just he's talking, and he asks him to eat dinner, and they eat dinner. And then, this is where it gets weird, the old man, drugged the reporter, and he was drugged for, days, and tied to a chair. The chair's eating dinner in, and the old man just starts, cutting his fingers off, and, attaching parts of skin to him from just random other people the old man's killed. And while the family of the reporter and friends of the reporter are trying to reach out, nobody can get through to him until the very last day when he's almost completely a walrus. He finally gets a call out, and then the old man makes him a walrus. He's still completely conscious, thinks like a human. He just accepts the fact that he's gonna be a walrus. And when he gets there, and when the police get there and everything, they just put him in a zoo because they think he's an actual walrus. So he spends his entire life in a zoo. Basically, it's messed up. It's messed up.
Anything with Kevin Smith attached to it is pretty good though.
Yeah.
Oh, another scary one like that, I'd say Human Centipede. First one, like it was phenomenally terrifying, and then they just if you've seen it, if you're listening, if you've seen it, just terrifying, like straight up just nasty, just disgusting, and something really you wouldn't want to watch, but it was still a good watch nonetheless. Terrifying, traumatizing. It was a good watch. The second one wasn't bad, although I remember hearing about the second one and going, the fuck, they made a second one? Why? That was hilarious to me.
The third one is just absolutely disgusting. It's not a good watch.
It's just terrible. Like it's nothing like the first one or the second one, and it's just, you know, it's just bad. It's bad. It's not even close to good. It's bad.
Well, it just went. Did it put one out?
Yeah, I think that's the whole thing of it. Like, made so much money off the second and first one is, why not, you know, make a third one? But it did not turn out well at all. Like it didn't go well, like at all. It was terrible. It was bad.
It was real bad. Another good horror movie. If you're into horror and you haven't seen any good ones lately, Jeepers Creepers. If you haven't already seen it, absolutely love that movie, and it's just great in general. It does a really good job at just scaring. Alright. Well, anybody else got anything to say?
Nah. I think we covered everything I wanted to.
No, I'm good.
Okay. Well, we'll get back to y'all on the third episode of Hats Slightly On. Peace.